Welcome to my channel. This is an indication of some of the things that I cover on a regular basis in my videos. If you haven't already subscribed, please feel free to do so, and don't forget to click the little bell so that you'll get notified of future videos. Please feel free to share my videos on your social media, and I hope you enjoy the video which follows. Well, I'm getting some potatoes for dinner this evening, and I'm going to try to remember this time to weigh them and put the weight on the screen. I have 3 containers left here, 2 of the big plastic ones, and this is one of the sort of smart pot things. It's slightly smaller, so I don't know quite what to expect here. Soil is still very wet after the hurricane, or the tail end of the hurricane, whatever it was that we got here. The water from it just certainly hasn't gone anywhere yet. Nice size anyway. Nice size muddy potatoes. I will probably empty all of them. That's the seed, I guess, seed potato there. And all of the reveals will be on this video, including up at the community garden. Well, that's probably one of the smallest ones I've had this summer. There hasn't been very many little ones. The ones up at the community garden, the vines have still got some green on them, but they're failing. And I'll have to take scales up with me for that, because I give my produce up there to the kitchen of the nursing home. Almost missed that one. Another one. I haven't been examining the other piles as closely as I have this one. Maybe I've been leaving some potatoes behind. Well, I will clean those off and show you what they look like. And I will weigh them once I get up to the house. And I'm really going to try my best to put the weight on the screen this time. Total failure the last time. Well, partially cleaned up, I guess. I don't seem to be able to get all of the dirt off of these ones with the garden hose, maybe because the soil was so wet. I'll have to use a brush on them up at the house, but there's 3 or 4, maybe 5 decent sized ones there. So the weight should have already appeared on the screen. Well, it's September 16th, the day after that last reveal clip, and I'm going to harvest the rest of my potatoes here, and then I'm going to go up to the community garden and see what developed up there in my little plot. This is my tallest sunflower, and as I've said before, I know it's one of the tall varieties, either the giant American or giant Russian, I don't know which, but it looks like it's going to finally bloom anyway. I'll give you a look at how tall the thing is. At a guess, 8 feet, 9 feet, something like that. I think that cage that it's attached to is 6 feet. It's a good 2 feet above that, so, and still growing, evidently. The one up at the community garden has done the same thing. I was up there yesterday, and it was, well, open more than this. It had showed yellow petals starting to bloom out. I mentioned yesterday the hurricane, or subtropical depression, whatever they called the thing when it hit here, but I didn't say too much. We had a lot of rain, lots of rain. Everything is still wet a week later, and some wind, but there was absolutely no damage here. We were very fortunate, and a lot of people suffered a lot of damage in other places. I haven't even found a tree anywhere that was blown over, and I've been on a lot of side roads and things since then. So as far as the hurricane went here, it was just a good rainstorm, a great soaking, and a bit of wind, but nothing serious. This is, no. There. It's coming back. I thought I'd just get the camera set up and the bumblebee flies away. But that is one of the varieties called Firecracker, which has multiple blossom heads on each stem. So far I have three I guess in bloom with just one blossom on each, but being enjoyed by the bees this morning anyway, so hopefully that will produce some sunflower seeds a little later on for the birds. What I didn't say is the wind from the hurricane did knock over the sunflowers here, the shorter varieties and the taller varieties, so I have fastened them all to the wire in the cage. So they look a bit fastened down, I realize, but they were laying on the ground and I figured I would lose them, so I put them back upright and tied them up, and they looks like they're going to bloom anyway. Well, this is another one of what I call the larger containers. It's probably a third larger than the one that I did yesterday. Let's dump it out and see what's in it. The variety is called Superior, and I had never grown them before. I don't think I'll grow them again. They're a nice tasting potato, but they come apart into a pot of mush if you try to boil them, either boiling them whole or cutting them up. They're an excellent baking potato, but I would like to have a more multi-purpose, multi-use potato, I guess. Set those up there. It appears the yield is better in this larger pot. Once again, everything is very wet and muddy potatoes. I even managed to weigh and record the weight, as you have seen on yesterday's. Hope I do today's too. I've brought 2 small plastic grocery bags out with me, marked with reveal number 1 and reveal number 2, so I'm really curious to see what's happened up at the community garden, because they're planted directly in the soil there. Raised bed, but they're planted directly in the soil, so and no, here I have moles and voles. I've seen no evidence of it up there, so curious to see if they grew any larger. They were planted a bit later than these, but they've grown nicely all summer, and they're not completely died back yet. There's still some color in the vines. Well, I think I found everything that there was to find there. That is a bit better than yesterday's. We'll know when I get it to the house and weigh them up, I guess. These ones cleaned up much better than the ones that were in that smart pot yesterday. I don't know what the difference would be. All been in the ground the same amount of time, but I had a great deal of difficulty scrubbing the soil off of the ones yesterday, and I just quickly rinsed these with the garden hose and they came perfectly clean. So by now you should have seen the weight. Well, this is the last container here. One thing I must say is I really like the mixture that I've been growing them in this year. The organic Pro Mix. Said on the label that it had nutrients enough to grow any vegetable for 3 months. I think maybe towards the end of August I did give these a little miracle grow, but it's been a very good product. I certainly will be using it again. Very wet. Good thing I'm getting them out of here. I think they would probably rot. They're finally finding some tiny ones. Those have been kind of rare this summer. These would certainly have rotted if I hadn't get them out soon enough here. Sitting in this cold, wet soil mixture. All of this soil mixture is going into a bed that I'm trying to restore. If you saw my videos years ago, I used to have a lovely lavender bed. Well, a couple of winters ago we had a lot of very cold weather and no snow cover, which is not good for perennials, and it almost devastated the lavender. Some of the plants are coming back, but I'm just planting other things there. There is an order of tulip bulbs arriving probably today or tomorrow. They will be going in, leaving the existing lavender plants right where they are. I may try in the spring to take cuttings and propagate some of the lavender. Never done that before, but I understand it isn't all that difficult, so give it a try, I guess. I've got a wheelbarrow full anyway of soil that can go in the bed. I don't think these are as large as the last one was, but I'm going to last a few more potatoes. Show you them cleaned up in a second here. Well, once again they cleaned up very easily. I just sprayed them with the garden hose here and all the dirt came off. I don't understand what the difference would be in the Smart Pot thing and the regular plastic tubs that I was using. Why it would be so difficult to get it off when they're grown in the Smart Pot. But I guess in future I won't grow potatoes in Smart Pots. They seem to grow much nicer in the plastic tubs, and they had the same soil on all of them. I used that organic Pro Mix. That's what I grew them all in. Well, by now I guess once again you should have seen the weight on this. Now I'm going to go up to the community garden and see what I get out of my little plot up there. I planted 2 seed potatoes up there. Each of these containers only had 1 seed potato. Now to start things off up here at the community garden, I've got to show you my sunflower, which has started to bloom. And I'm thinking, not sure, but I think that's probably at least 10 feet tall. Well, before I even got around to digging potatoes, I pulled the largest of my turnips. Get a hand in there to give you an idea. I didn't want the thing to get any bigger. I would like to wait until we have a couple of frosts. That supposedly makes them sweeter, but that's already quite large, so that will be going into the kitchen here as well. Well, the potato vines, for all intents and purposes, I guess, are finished, along with a lot of weeds that I've let grow up in amongst them. Unfortunately, I couldn't find a fork here, a garden fork. Didn't bring my own. So I'm going to use a shovel and hope I don't cut any of the potatoes in two. Oh, wow, look at the size. Look at that. Now, those are more like what I planted for seed. Amazing. They obviously do much better in the ground. Unfortunately, there's not a thing I can do about that at home. Man, I can't get over that. I would say that's all off of that one potato seed there. Still have the other one to dig up. Don't know if I got everything here or not. I'll dig around, come back and show you what I get anyway. Well, as you might be able to tell, I'm a bit pleased with that. Those are both the size. Some of them are larger than the things that I planted for seed potatoes. I've been very curious to see how it worked up here in the ground where nothing was disturbing them, and a wonderful lot of sunlight up here. I haven't weighed them yet, but by now you will see the weight coming on the screen. Amazing. I brought my scales up with me, but I got to show you the size of some of these things. Look at that. Very pleased. And I think the kitchen here will be able to at least do one serving for everybody out of that pile. It's only a short bit of time since I dug those potatoes at the community garden. I've got Angel out to her favorite beach for her swim. And you probably hear her walking around on the rocks here. But that is the cable laying ship that I showed in a few videos quite a while ago now. It finished laying the cable to Campobello and Deer Island, and now it's laying the cable between Campobello and Graminan. And if I understand what's going on, they started over at Graminan and are bringing it to Campobello. It was in a similar position yesterday, only closer to Graminan. I think it had dropped anchor for the day. And right now it looks like it's laying cable again. Well, I'll finish this video off with a shot of my girl retrieving her stick from the ocean. We do this every day. She goes and gets a stick and begs me to throw it so she can go get it. That's a good girl. Well, thank you very much for watching.